Guys, welcome to Fan vs. Pro episode 2. I'm the fan.
Hey
Justin
everyone.
Vegas is the pro. And today we're talking about where the hell money goes in the anime industry. Because this is something I've been wanting to know for a while. Because from the outside looking in, it's this huge booming industry.
Yeah,
Making
doing well.
It seems to be doing very, very well. But you hear horror stories of animators getting paid almost nothing, struggling. Like I think I read, I don't know what the stat number was, but it was like a lot of animators are still living with their parents.
Yeah, a lot. The junior ones, certainly.
So where's all this cash going?
Okay, well, that's a big topic, and there's a lot of places the money goes. So when an anime gets sold, say to a streaming company or to a U.S. publisher or something like that, and also obviously the revenue coming in from fans in Japan, it all goes to the production committee. The production committee is it's a consortium of like 5 to 7 different companies. Usually, I mean, it's not a big pot of companies. It's all names names like Kadokawa, Shogakukan, manga publishers like that, Bandai Visual, and other companies that you wouldn't expect too, like Sega, maybe some of the figure makers or some video game companies, maybe a home video company like Pony Canyon. Yeah. So anyway, all those people chipped in to make the movie or make the show, and they're the first ones that get paid back. Also, everyone. There's a certain line level. It's the director, it's the original creator, whoever that is, maybe the manga artist or whatever, and the head writer, credited as Shiri's Kosei, or basically series coordinator. It's the head writer that coordinates, all the script writers under them. That's like, okay, you do this episode, it has to, gel like this, that sort of thing. So the head writer, the director, and the creator, they all get paid royalties. I think it's 2.7% of everything that comes in goes directly to them. So if you're a director, if you're an anime director or a head writer, you can make some really good money. That's why one of my favorite old school directors, Kunihiko Yuyama, he did stuff like Goshogun the Time Étranger, Windaria. He has spent the last 30 years directing nothing but Pokemon.
Is it because it's making the sweet cash?
He will never admit it publicly, but I am absolutely sure of it. There can't possibly be a more lucrative game in anime directing other than that, unless it's something you created yourself, which that's much, much, much harder. So all the money comes in, it goes to the production committee, and the production committee, once they've paid themselves back for all the money they spent on the series and all the marketing and all that good stuff, they invest all that income mostly in other anime, and that's where that money goes. Now, the money that was paid up front before anybody made anything off of the show, that was paid to the anime studio, be it Madhouse, be it, Puro, be it, whoever. They're doing it as a contractor. And that's what fans routinely miss half the time. They think of the animation studio as the creator. They're not. They're literally just a contractor that was, for a predetermined amount of money, assigned to do this many episodes of animation labor. That's it. So as a result, there's a bidding process. There's a lot of market forces at work to keep that price low, that specific amount per episode. And it's more or less the same. It's around, last time I heard it was around US $350,000 per episode to produce an anime.
Shit.
Your eyes are bugging out there.
Like 20, was that? It's like 22 minutes roughly? 20.
Well, yeah, roughly. I mean,
wow.
Once you take out the opening and ending, probably closer to 21.
Wow. $350,000 is the average.
Not a lot of money, is it? Yeah. And that from there you also have to pay the voice talent. You have to pay the audio engineers. You have to pay the editors. It's a lot more than just the animators.
There's a lot of overhead.
Lots of overhead. I mean, when you have literally thousands of people, usually around roughly 2,000 people work on a given anime episode. So you have, and they're all working collaboratively. So these days you have to have servers. A lot of people are working off site, so you have to have people deliver and pick up the finished animation pages that then have to be scanned in. There is a lot of overhead, and so there's a limited amount of budget. The people in charge, the director, the animation director, all those people, they're fans. They're all fanboys. Otherwise, they wouldn't be an anime because it doesn't pay that well, and it's a whole lot of work. They really, really want to make it look as good as possible. And so they will have a very high standard. They'll try to bite off way more than they can chew and probably more than they can afford just to give it that extra little bit of quality. And so it's pretty common the producer in charge might run out of money from that finite amount that they agreed to do the show for, and then they have to start cutting corners. But you can see how easily it turns into really scrimping to make every penny count, or every yen count, I should say.
So another question I have, because obviously you have to pay so many people, like there's a lot of overhead. When companies like, let's say, Sunrise create like a pseudonym like Hajime Yatate, where they give credit to this fake person, is that so that the company can make more money, so that the company can own the rights to said franchise?
Yes, Sunrise is actually pretty special in that they own almost all of what they create. They do little to no work for hire, and that can backfire really badly because chances are they're putting way more of their own money out on the line. And an animation studio, they don't have that much money. So, that if they're investing that much of the money they made into a new production, if that production bombs, it can take out the studio. That's exactly what happened with Monglobe. They had a couple bad shows that landed with a thud in a row. The last one being Samurai, what was it called? Samurai Flamenco.
Oh man, that's a good show.
Bombed horribly, and it took out the studio.
It bombed. It's
that finished them off.
Here. There's still not an official release here in the States. You have to import it from the UK.
It might not be possible to license it right now because the original creator doesn't exist anymore.
Wow. So if like for instance, if you go to Wikipedia and you look that up, it says licensed in a Aniplex. But maybe because, like you said, the original creator is just gone, maybe they can't legally put it out.
Yeah, probably not. If there's no one left to sign off on that sort of thing, or there's some infighting behind the scenes, they're kind of screwed.
So looking at Hajime Yatate's Wikipedia, Cowboy Bebop said it's created by Sunrise.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Noteworthy, did not do well in Japan originally.
Isn't that weird? How there's like some animes like that, Trigun, that don't do well in Japan, but stateside are just this huge thing.
I call it Kurosawa syndrome. Akira Kurosawa was not that popular in Japan.
Really?
His style was very American. His filmic style was based on American westerns, and because it felt kind of on a cellular level familiar to Americans, that's why that he was the director that blew up over here. But if you go to Japan, he's not super well known. A lot of the people that are big Japanese cinema buffs, they're more into stuff like Yasujiro Ozu.
I like God. Well, never mind. I'm not even gonna try to explain it. It's a series of Yakuza films. There's like 12 of them. I can't think of the name right now. I have the box.
There's so many Yakuza films.
I know.
So many Yakuza films.
Amazing set of films. It's, Arrow Video put them out, but I can't think of the name. I'm really bad with names when it comes to certain things.
Takeshi Miike directing?
No, but I love Miike. I love
I
Miike.
do, I do love me some Mika. I used to, when all of his really, really like super, super gory and ridiculous
It's the
films
killer
were,
audition.
yeah, when all those were coming out in theaters here, I used to enjoy sitting in the back row and watching people freak out and run out of the theater.
I actually was at the restaurant maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and one of my friends who works there, I was like, "Hey, have you ever seen Itchy the Killer?" And he's like, "Never heard of it." So I put it on the TV in the back after we were closed, and about 30 minutes in, he was just like, "What the fuck are we watching?" He's like, "I've seen."
One of,
Yeah, right there. Ice is right. Battle for Honor and Humanity are the series of films. I was thinking
I'm unfamiliar.
they're really good. But dude, Itchy, not Itchy, Miike, Imprint. Have you seen Imprint?
I have not. No,
It's probably
I mean, there's
source
so
of
many films he's made. I can't even
over a
keep
hundred,
track.
over 100 movies.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, and a lot of them are terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I really want to see his new one, First Love.
Yeah, I want to see that. God, did I ever see? There's I haven't seen any of his recent stuff.
Blade of the Immortal was okay.
Yeah,
It was all right. It wasn't that good. Like the opening scene's really cool because it's black and white, so it feels like an old school samurai film. And then
hmm
slowly but surely the color comes in, and I mean he's probably one of my favorites, but he's also like you said, there's a lot of hit and there's a lot of miss. Over 100 movies. That's a
yeah,
lot. That guy doesn't
it
stop.
is. He doesn't. He's such a nice guy. I interviewed him once, and he's such a sweetheart. What was that for? Oh yeah, that was the live action Yatterman.
That's terrible.
It was a terrible movie, and he, one of the like Johnny's Idol guys was in it in the lead, and those guys that management company is just a nightmare, and he was just like, oh God, get me away from those guys. He's just like, I'm so done, I'm so done.
What's your favorite film by him?
Honestly, don't judge me. Visitor Q.
Well, that's not that. I mean, that's not that bad of an answer. That's a good
Well,
answer.
it's such a backstory. I knew a lot of the people at Media Blasters back when they were releasing that movie. I've never heard of this happening before or since. They sent it to the MPAA for a rating, and the MPAA sent it back with a post-it that said, "This is the worst thing we have ever seen. Do not resubmit. Rating denied."
What do you do at that point? Can you legally put that out?
Oh, sure, yeah. It's not. This isn't like the UK where they can ban something if they don't pass it. No, it's just if you're going direct to video, it's fine. It's just a matter of.
Worst thing we've ever seen.
I know.
I'm just thinking a
How
bunch of.
bad?
I'm just thinking of like a bunch of boomers just sitting in a room. Being like, all right, we're gonna watch Visitor Q, and just being like, what the.
Can you imagine that screening room? Because they get parents. They specifically get parents to fill those rooms.
No, that's a bad.
Yeah. Literally, first thing on screen. Have you ever done it with your dad? They're like, okay, we're done.
Some
We're
of them are
done.
probably like, yes, yeah. uh, so Itchy the Killer. Have you ever read the
Yeah.
manga?
I have not. I did work on the prequel anime
It's
back when
worse.
Central Park Media put that out.
It's worse than the movie. It's more violent. It's more sexual. That movie with a 2020 lens on it is a lot more uncomfortable than the first time I ever watched it. There's a lot of
Well, it's very rapey, if I recall.
there's a lot like in the first 30 minutes. There's
A
like
lot of sexual violence.
a lot of rape, just like a ton.
A lot of rape.
Which I'm not a big fan of. I don't think normal people are really, but
No. I mean that honestly, there's so. This is if I still have an issue after 30 odd years of dealing with this stuff. Oh my God, did I just say that?
30 years.
27 odd years. Yeah, because I was an anime fan. I started when I was 13. So yeah, 27 years of dealing with Japanese pop culture. The one thing that I've never been fully comfortable with, and thank God for that, is just there's so much rape. So much rape.
I think it's the rape and the lollies for me. especially after
Yeah.
becoming a dad. The lollies just like ugh.
Working on hentai desensitized me to a lot of it for many years, but I think I've healed.
Just a little bit. So 27 years, Justin. You realize I'm 27. I'm gonna I'm gonna be 28 in 9 days. Wait, yeah, 9 days. Yeah, so I'm gonna be 20. I'm gonna be 28 soon. So you were doing this when I was born.
Yeah, that's about when I was renting my first anime tapes at Blockbuster.
Which is nuts, man. You're so old now.
Thank you for that.
I'm fucking. You
Look, I turned 40 this year, and it is bugging the shit out of me.
Why, dude? You look good. You're in good shape.
Yeah, I guess.
You literally look like you're not much older than me. Like maybe
it's a dumb psychological hang up. It's just, you know.
I never thought I would be like that, but I'm getting anxiety getting closer to 30. You know, like
you know, these big milestones in your life, you know, whether yes, it's just a number, but also it makes you go, it's like they're a milestone, and they make you stand back and go, okay, am I where I want to be right now? I only have X number of years left. Am I going to have time and the ability to check off everything off the off the list? And 40, I feel like that's the first year where I'm starting to go, no, I don't have time.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way too. There's absolutely no time.
What do you not have time to do?
I barely have time.
Read all the manga in the world.
Hey. I have read, I'm doing a challenge with some friends, which they're in the chat, and I'm winning, by the way, guys. It's 100 books in a year, 100 manga books. I'm at like 30-something, and it's the 20th. I read all of
I was going to say, that doesn't even sound challenging.
No, it's not challenging at all. Actually, not at all. I read over 2,000 volumes of manga last year.
I know people that have done that in a week.
Watch Just Me in 37,000 more times. You know, that's actually true. I need to stop. That show.
You do.
It's so good. And I got a friend. I finally got someone else who's not a Toku fan to watch it. And the first thing he says is, dude, this opening is a banger. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That opening is a banger. But back on track, because we should talk about the whole money situation. Because again,
did you see me just glaze over once you started talking about Just Beyond?
I love it, dude. I don't know.
I know you do. I made that Blu-ray, and I'm starting to regret it.
How the fuck does that look so good for standard def? It looks so incredibly good. Is that you, or is that?
I'm happy. I mean, it's both, but I'm happy you're happy.
I'm so happy. I still have the figure. I hunted down a 1985 Just Be. I don't think you guys understand, but anyways, so the reason why we brought up this
what have I done?
The topic of money is because Anno, as Hideaki Anno, which is very weird because Japanese business is very private usually,
especially failure.
Yeah, and he kind of, I think also because there was the head of Gainax got in trouble for like child pornography or something along those lines.
Yeah, he got arrested. This has been like the second or third time that one of the presidents of Gainax has gotten arrested.
So I think all the headlines I saw were president or head of studio responsible for Evangelion arrested for child pornography. So it's like, I think he came out and was like, I need to clear my name because this is, you know. So he wrote a letter, and it's a tell-all, and it is just
it's quite something, isn't it?
Juicy. It's really juicy, and I just can't believe that Gainax had the balls to screw over the man who single-handedly almost kept that studio alive. Like, just.
I mean, if you've been following for a while, it's not a shock. Gainax has been kind of a shit show for many, many years, and Anno, I believe he stepped away right after His and Her Circumstances. He hasn't been at that studio for many years. Yep.
And the whole licensing behind Evangelion was a little weird. They both had merchandise rights, Gainax and Anno, but he had the rights.
They did for a while.
Which now apparently he has 100%, which is mind blowing. Anno is
Yeah.
rolling in the dough. Um, but he went on to did Studio Kara, and he had the rights to continue making movies about the property, which is how we got Rebuild, and 1.2 and all this.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because he's the original creator. Right.
but so Gainax is going. They were just blowing money, apparently, just spending money without a care in the world because they had all that Evangelion cash coming in, and
Yep.
that started to kind of dry up a little bit. And Anno went on, did the Rebuild films, did Godzilla, did Cutie Honey first before Godzilla,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. He also did a little known film with um, Steven Seagal's daughter called Shikijutsu.
is it good?
It's weird. Um,
Is it as weird as Steven Seagal being a cop?
it's very arty and cerebral, and I don't think it holds together very well. Um, but it is interesting. It's an interesting film.
What did he do on that? Did he direct it?
Yeah, he directed. It was based on a book by Steven Seagal's daughter, who also stars in it, and it's basically about a traumatized a there's a director who's kind of feeling at sea and doesn't know what to do with himself, played by an actual director, played by the guy who directed All About Lily Shoo Shoo and Hana and Alice, Iwai Shinji. Anyway, he meets a girl who is very mysterious and is living in this warehouse and basically kind of living in her own fantasy, and he kind of becomes obsessed with her, and she's kind of living half in a dream state because of some major trauma in her life. Like I said, it's very, very heady.
It sounds like
Oh,
something Anno would
also,
make.
well, did you ever see Love and Pop?
No.
I love that movie. That was Anno's live action directorial debut, and it's about Enjo Kosai, compensated dating, i.e., schoolgirl prostitution. And it's constructed like Evangelion with like the text screens and also he shot it in the mid to late 90s when little tiny Sony mini DV handycams were just coming out, the really really tiny ones, and he was abusing the fuck out of that. He was like attaching it to arms, attaching it to socks, attaching it to bottom plates of spaghetti. It's I mean, I wouldn't watch it on a huge screen if you get easily seasick, but it's a very unique film, and I like it quite a lot.
Anno's a
And
pretty
it's
unique guy.
very Evangelion feeling.
I'm really excited to see what he does with Ultraman. Like super excited. They posted. Have you seen the picture of what his version of Ultraman looks like?
I have, and I'm not a big Japanese superhero fan, but I will see that.
He looks alien. Like he looks very familiar, but very there's something weird about it. He's very ominous. Like he's just standing there. He's very lengthy. His ribs are kind of popping out a little bit. Just very, very weird. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm super excited. I really liked what he did with Shin Godzilla. The rebuild films, even though people kind of tend to shit on episode 3 or film 3, I like film 3. Um, I've liked pretty much Evangelion is one of my favorite franchises. So reading this,
I didn't care for film 3.
see, a lot of people don't, but I have no idea how he is going to wrap up every question that I have left in that movie with 4.0 or 3. Whatever.
I don't think he's going to. Evangelion at its best was an exercise in audience abuse.
I
Um,
I dude I accidentally put it on for my kid. You know that scene where Shinji is just ripping apart, I think Asuka, just ripping her apart,
oh
or
God.
is it Ray or no? It's Asuka, just ripping her apart in the mech, and he can't stop it. That
Mhm.
scene, I don't know what it is about that scene. That scene is
Is this the one where the Hallelujah chorus is playing?
yeah, yep, yeah. Right, we're
Oh
like her
God.
mech is down.
That
And
is a
that is when I saw that. I don't like when I watch that movie. It's really hard for me to watch that scene for some reason. I don't get
mm,
triggered very easily. I don't get bothered by stuff, but that scene in particular makes me feel very just like very uneasy. Um, but that's a sign of a guy who knows what he's doing, and he's a brilliant dude. and I think he stores all his power in his ears. Have you seen his ears? They're very big, very very big. Uh, but so Anno puts out this list, or not this list, but this letter, and it talks about pretty much Gainax just didn't know how to run itself. They asked him for a couple $1 million, and
Yep.
he agreed. He's like, "I'm going to do it, but you have to give me the rights to Fully Cooley, a bunch of other Gainax properties," and they agreed to it. And then he found out that they sold it
I
to.
don't think he said Furikuri. He said,
I'm pretty
I
sure
mean,
it's Fully Cooley.
well, he tried to get Furikuri. He didn't end up with that. It was just gone by the time he came around.
But it's so sad
Because
to see Gainax in this spot because Gainax has put out some great anime, and then the people who branched off from Gainax have started great studios like Kara and Trigger, and so it's just what the fuck was Gainax doing with all that cash? Were they just
blowing it.
just sorting blow and just going crazy?
You know, one of my little guilty pleasure K-holes that I go into on YouTube sometimes is financial self-help people. Because I'm a big Susie Orman fan, and there's also there's Dave Ramsey, there's all those people who people call in and they're like $500,000 in credit card debt and they make $30,000 a year, and you're just like, how did you do that? And it's just a little bit here, a little bit there. Oh, I bought a new car that was $80,000, and then I totaled it, so I had to get another one. Just little stuff that just chips away at it like that. It's exactly the same thing. That's what Gainax did. It's just if you're not in charge of your money, and you are just kind of you're just letting it fly out of your pocket, and that's just poor management. That's just what it is.
And then another question, which was a question we got, but we can tie this into this topic. When a company licenses an anime, where does that money go? Does that money go to any of the animators, anyone that worked on it, or is it just?
No, that goes to the production committee, just like every other means of income, and everything gets distributed by there. The actual animation studio gets nothing beyond what they agreed to do the show for.
That's kind of sad.
Well, they're not creators. They're just people who made the thing. It's like it would be like from a producer point of view, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but from a producer point of view, it would be like the drywall contractor being paid every time a house gets sold for more money.
Okay.
You know? Yes, there's artistry in good drywall. That's an art. But that doesn't mean that you own the house, and that doesn't mean that you were in charge of where to put the drywall.
That's a pretty interesting comparison. Drywall to anime.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's entertainment, we feel very emotional about it. Otaku especially is kind of a thing. So we don't, and as consumers, and I'm the first person to say the system is badly broken and needs reform. If this is the end result, if it's to the point where the companies are charging the studios are charging the production committee so little that they can't afford to pay a living wage to everyone that works on the show. That's not good. That's not sustainable. Clearly, stuff needs to be done. But that's between the animation studios and the production committees. That's not anything that fans and consumers are really in, or even something like Crunchyroll or Funimation. They're not in a position to be able to dictate those terms because it has nothing to do with them. That was a closed door arrangement that was agreed to between the studio and the producers. And if they didn't get enough money, that just means that they're really bad negotiators. And unfortunately, this is very similar to what happens with CG studios. You might remember the company Rhythm and Hues. They filed for bankruptcy right after getting nominated for an Oscar for Life of Pi.
Wow, really?
That was that Life of Pi. That was a few years ago now.
Some company just go. Yeah, the team that fixed Sonic the Hedgehog.
Did they just go under?
They went under, and the movie's not even out yet. They went under in December. So they're
I
just
hadn't
gone.
heard about that, but that's the thing. When you're, and I see this in the dub space too. When you're a contractor in entertainment, there's this mindset where you are kind of beholden to the producer, and you'll just bend over backwards for anything because you're so scared of never getting another job. And so more often than not, you're taking it, forgive the expression, you're taking it without lube. Thank you. Because it's just, you just don't want to piss them off. And I don't run my business like that. I tell the client what I think should be done. And luckily, maybe in spite of of that, I still get work. But I get work specifically from companies and from clients that value my input.
But also, there's no one, not to shit on anyone else in the industry, but
sure,
there's.
I don't think a whole lot of other contractors could get away with the lip that I give my clients.
Well, and that probably shows how good you are at your job, because there's I'll watch Funimation Blu-rays, and Funimation is supposed to be like a very big company. They prop themselves up at least bigger than Discotheque, and sometimes their shit looks bad, and then just like I was talking about earlier, Just comes out, a little unknown Toku show, and it looks phenomenal. So there's definitely I feel like you could probably talk a lot more shit than you do, because you are very talented. Not to just someone.
Well, look,
one of my friends goes,
are
you gonna stop sucking Justin off because you suck up to him? And I was like, we're just buddies. He's a good guy.
You can lay off a little bit. No, it's cool. I mean, it's I'm Asian. I don't deal well with compliments. It's just.
Why?
I just kind of get uncomfortable. Okay, let's change the subject.
Well, next episode, I'm complimenting you the whole time. It could be 1 hour.
No, if you want to make me comfortable, berate me. That's my jam.
Berate you as a person?
Why do you think I'm still on Twitter?
I don't see people berate you very much.
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. Please don't berate me on Twitter.
Everyone just tweet at Justin that he sucks.
Yeah, but seriously, when I was first doing the gym stuff, I used to, people were all, so you can do it, go get it, you can do it, I believe in you, and I'm just that's not going to work for me.
No.
Tell me I'm worthless. Tell me I'm a fat slob that can't get anywhere, and then I will go. Then I will run a fucking marathon.
I used to literally when I was at my heaviest. I would look in the mirror, and when I didn't want to go in the gym, and I would just be like, "You're a fat piece of shit," and then I would go to the gym, and I would be so motivated.
It's funny. When I was first working out, I was really motivated by the darkness. Ooh. I would put on this really, really no.
I believe in a thing called love, that darkness.
More oh, God. No, completely lost my train. No, so I would put on some really, really dark music, just some really just deep mood music, and I would just kind of mentally go to that place where it was 4 episodes into some giant Shonen Jump tournament arc, and I'd just be the protagonist, just blood coming down my face, just barely able to prop himself up, and that's how I would get through it. That's how I'd do one more burpee or whatever.
I used to work out till I threw up, and then I was I'm done. That's how.
See, that's not good.
Well, I was a fat piece of shit, so I needed to get rid of it, and it worked. 130 pounds in 9 months. So, but I at the start, I'd be I would just walk. I could barely walk, and I would just wait until I was drenched in sweat, and I was all right, I'm done. But same thing, I would listen to dark music, go into a dark place, and I feel because I can't be I'm just all sunshine and rainbows, let's get it. Because working out sucks. I love it, but it
sucks.
That's
a funny thing. So I'm 8 years in now. to my little fitness journey thing, and I've lost the darkness. I
So,
know
so
it's
you have
weird. The darkness does not come to me anymore. I even no matter what music I play in, I can't get in that like really intense self-loathing headspace anymore. I just can't do it.
well, it's because you lost you fucking hit the goal, man.
Maybe I don't hate myself anymore.
I mean, I think that's what it is too. Because I got the end result. I got a wife now, and I have a kid. I mean, that's pretty much why I was working
Yeah,
out.
you're at the point of your life where most people give up entirely.
I've gained 25 pounds, so I'm
Oh
but
God,
hey, 25
that's
pounds,
not where I was going with that.
25 pounds in 3 years. I think that's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You're doing fine.
And I'm
You're
gonna
doing
be
fine.
and I've been going every night. I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
Especially given where you were and where you work.
Oh man, dude, our food's so good, so good. But like now, like I've been trying to cut carbs, and we have cauliflower crust now. So, I'm trying to do better. But cauliflower crust secretly is really fattening, super fattening.
Is it?
Oh my god, so fattening. Like
Really?
like the calorie count's pretty.
Oh
low,
yeah,
but
it's all stuck together with butter, isn't it?
Yep, it's a lot of butter. A lot of
Oh
butter,
boy.
and you can cheat by putting a little rice flour in there, just a tiny bit.
See,
Bit.
okay, so while I was in England over Thanksgiving, I got addicted to not just English tea, like I haven't had green tea in months now. So I have to have, tea with milk, none of this almond milk shit, actual milk. And I discovered that the way you make oatmeal amazing is you put in a squirt of agave, you put in actual dairy, like a decent amount of glug of dairy as you're cooking it, and maybe a couple shakes of cinnamon.
I don't like oatmeal.
And oh, it's so good. It's so good. And so now that will be my breakfast. And I did the calorie count on that. It's like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't use heavy cream like I did this day. But if I use regular milk, then it's only 500 calories. It's not that bad.
Do you?
But then I look at what it was before, and it was like 200.
What do you count? Do you count calories, or do you count your macros and all that stuff and all that bull crap?
I go halfway between calories and macros. I used to be, like, back when I was first starting CrossFit, everyone was super into paleo, and it
I
worked,
remember
but
that.
it was not sustainable. Like, it's just not. And the reason it worked is because you were actually watching what you were eating.
I just
So,
I try to stay
you know,
under a certain calorie count because that's just easier for my lifestyle instead of being like, oh, I have to pull up my app every time I eat something. I just know, hey,
yeah.
just subtract.
Well, once you do that for a while, you kind of know what everything is. I'm probably right at where I should be for the day, so I probably shouldn't have any more. So I should probably just ignore that
my
meal I
weakness is
have in the
cookies.
fridge.
My weakness is cookies, and I came home last night. I did so good, and my wife baked me homemade sugar cookies, and
Oh shit!
and she put them out in the shape of a heart and wrote me notes, and then like wrote "I love you" and put it in a heart. My wife likes me. I don't know why, but so I came
Yeah, I
home
don't
and I was
either.
like, I came home. It's 3 a.m. and there's like 10 cookies on the plate, and by the time I was
Oh my
done, there were
god!
0 cookies on the plate because my wife is an amazing cook, and dude,
Well, she's got to have your back though when you're trying to be good.
we we've been doing good. We got the Hello Fresh. We switched to the low calorie part, and that's pretty much all I've been eating. So I've like today.
Okay, so I've been doing HelloFresh. I learned the hard way. Do not get anything remotely ethnic. Their white people food is very good, but I had their what was it their something
The
Mexican, not tacos. The tacos were sad. The tacos were like a home cooked version of like what my German grandmother would make, basically. And oh god, the chicken katsu from this week, I was livid when they told me to. First of all, they give me the wrong kind of rice, and then they told me to put salt and pepper and butter in the rice.
I don't know because
No.
actually I'm gonna
Bad
look
HelloFresh. Bad white people. Don't do that. That's fucked up.
bad white people. I'm gonna see what they sent us this week because we have the low calorie count, so ours is a little different. But we have steakhouse pork chops, good. Crispy Parmesan chicken, white people food.
Hmm.
Loaded beans and chili, rice, veggie chili, and Mediterranean salmon. So pretty much all white people food.
That sounds fine though. Yeah, that I don't think they will fuck any of that up. I really don't.
I'm really picky about salmon. So if
I
salmon,
have noticed that I have noticed that literally everything that they give you is flavored with beef stock, chicken stock, or veggie
yeah,
stock.
yes, this
Uh
is probably
and
easy.
and sour cream.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, we have literally a whole HelloFresh container of sour cream in our fridge because we don't like sour cream that much. And so like when we use it, we're like we have a stockpile from HelloFresh. So thanks
Yeah.
HelloFresh. We signed up. Also, I don't know how my wife finds the time with a baby to make HelloFresh every like for 2 meals a day. That's
Hmm.
that's a lot of cooking for 2 people. She's cooking for 3 people twice a day. While
That's a
also
lot. Yeah,
well,
HelloFresh is a lot.
Well,
That's
also
a lot of
trying not
work.
to. Well, having a baby, they're trying to kill themselves 24/7. So you have to try to get the baby from not. Oh, for real. My daughter just learned to climb. Well, higher. So her diaper changing station, she can climb it now, and it's like up to my chest. So she's crazy. She's nuts. I was doing a live stream earlier with a friend, and she climbed that chair right there. And I look, and she's standing on the top, playing with the blinds. I was like, "What? Kids are scary. Don't ever have one."
I don't I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I don't do it. My wife does it. She's stay at home mom. I go to work. I actually not like I love my
You're
kids.
lucky you can afford to do that. Not many people can these days.
You know, and you hear horror stories all the time. You know, like here actually in my town, a daycare worker shook a child so bad that the baby has permanent brain damage. The baby is going to be
Oh my god.
yeah. So also you don't know where all these dirty kids aren't vaccinated anymore, so you don't know where all these dirty kids are coming in and how the kids are behaved at home and how they're going to treat your child. So we're lucky that I'm in a financial position to allow my wife to stay home because she when like we had the baby, she asked, "Hey, I would like to be a hands-on mom and be with her 100% of the day." And I was like, "Absolutely, go ahead." And we're saving money because daycare is expensive.
Well, that'll get you by until preschool at least.
Well, she wants to homeschool, so
Hmm.
I don't know. All homeschool kids are a little weird. Uh,
I've yet to meet one that isn't screwed up from it.
I know a couple. Well, the thing about our high school is that you can do all extracurricular activities if you're homeschooled there. So she
Hmm.
can be taught at home, but then she can go to school for like drama or band or whatever else she wants to do. But I'm still on the fence. My wife really wants to do it. Um,
I have probably good 7 or 8 friends that were homeschooled, and none of them recommend it.
Also, could you imagine me being a teacher? Like me sitting down with my daughter?
I would pay for footage of that.
I'm
That sounds
actually
amazing.
I'm actually really good with kids. I actually love
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are because you're a big kid. That's kind of your thing.
I mean, before I decided to stay at the restaurant full time, before I switched from programming to journalism, and then my last major was I was gonna become an English teacher, and I wanted to move to Japan and teach English. So that was my original goal. Um,
God, you're such a weeb.
it was at the time it was Korea because I really wanted to go watch Pro StarCraft. And then
Okay.
then it switched to Japan, and then I met my wife, and then I was like, gotta stay in good old Corn City. Nothing here but corn,
Well,
corn and
oh dear.
diabetes.
You're making me really want to visit. So, change the topic. Are you going to Otakon?
It's still a maybe because if I go,
Still maybe.
Taylor's gonna want to go, and
Right.
we're gonna have to take the baby, but she's not gonna go to the con. She just wants to like hang out, in, the hotel with the pool and just relax and you know.
DC is awesome. DC is a really cool city. I was not prepared for how much I enjoyed it last year. I'm probably going to stay an extra few days this year.
Really.
Yeah.
And hey, if I do, we're gonna get dinner and we're gonna hang out.
Damn straight we are. So here's the funny part though. Uh, it's actually it's my second time in DC, but I had never really stayed there before. I was just in town really briefly to see a friend's play. And I get there and I check into my hotel, which is about a half mile from the convention center. And I look down the block and there's a Venezuelan restaurant and a CrossFit gym and a gay bar all on the same block.
It's a trifecta for you.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm into it. This is my town.
I actually told the story about my first experience at a gay bar earlier today. I actually found that most of my friends are gay for some reason, and my friend, I just got out of my 10-year relationship, very toxic. My friend's like, dude, go out with us. And I was like, all right, fine. So we go, and not to be stereotypical, but gay bars play the best music. That's not, they just do. Straight bars here play country music, and
some gay bars. Okay, first of all, you're in the Midwest, so it's like it is a cultural no man's land. Like you're just kind of screwed no matter what. So yeah, I could see gay bars being the one that plays, because we're in electronic music.
Ashanti was playing, Destiny's Child, Cassie, Alice DJ. Just like I remember all these songs and just cut loose. Also, they had some dudes from The Bachelor there that were doing like a strip tease. So I'm just like, this is all right. I'm having a blast. You can appreciate another guy. And this, I'll never forget this, but this very extremely overweight guy comes up to me and he's hitting on me. And
were you overweight at this point?
No, I was in great shape. I was in the best shape of my life. And I go, hey man, I'm not interested. I'm actually straight. He goes, oh, okay. And then we started talking and his name was Tony. And I go, even if it was gay and we hooked up, I would be screaming my uncle's name. Like, that's a little weird for me. So every time I saw him, because I saw him a lot after that, I would just be like, Tony! He was awesome. Great guy.
Okay, so someone just posted in the comments, I want to open an anime bar.
Where's that at?
Yeah, it's scroll down.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, there we go. Lizard and Crimson just posted that. Now, funny thing, there was a time in the 90s, and it happens every once in a while today, but it's pretty rare, when anime, because it was kind of associated with raver culture for a bit, you would go into a club and they'd be playing like random anime clips.
The weird,
like, some Wicked City and, all the stuff that like the synthwave kids are into now. But yeah, you would go in. I'll never forget it. So Madonna, for her Drowned World tour, licensed clips from 3 different anime to actually show as part of the visuals for her tour.
What?
One was Perfect Blue.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that.
2 was The Humanoid.
I can still kind of see that.
The Humanoid.
It's Madonna.
Right, and the third one, I don't even remember what the third one was. It sucked. It was like, besides Perfect Blue, it was all stuff, all this like D-list OVAs that I know that she had a hard time clearing anything else, because Japan doesn't really do, they don't really clear clips like that.
What clip from Perfect Blue?
I don't even know. I didn't go to that. I didn't go to that show.
Why not?
I've never been to a Madonna show.
I would love to go to a Madonna show. 100%.
I would probably go now that she's apparently not doing well and having to cancel show dates here and there.
Like health wise?
Yeah, apparently she just canceled last one with 45 minutes notice.
Come on, Madonna, don't be next. Well,
she's too young for that.
Well, at least we got Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I don't go to many huge shows like that. I go to little indie shows.
Yep, same.
And I haven't even been to that many lately. Actually, I think the last one I went to was Telephone Tel Aviv.
The last concert I went to was a big one. It was Lumineers with Taylor.
Oh, that's big. Yeah.
And she has really bad social anxiety, and the amount of people there, she was like,
never take her to an anime con.
Or take her. I went to Electric Forest, and that was just 60,000 people. Everyone's fucked up on drugs except for me. It was a
Well,
lot.
that's the thing. Like, how do you? I don't understand. Like, I'm not the biggest social butterfly either half the time, but I do wonder, how do you feel judged at an anime convention? Because everyone is a dork, everyone's a nerd, and I feel the same way with like raves like that. No, everyone's blasted out of their mind. No one's paying attention to you.
Have you been to a silent disco?
No, I
Those are
do they have
so
those here?
rad. Those are so cool. So when I was at Electric Forest the second year, there was a part in the forest where you just walk up and they had like headphone jacks. You just plug your headphones in, and everyone's dancing. There's a DJ. He's playing the music, and it was the coolest experience because going in, it's dead silent. You can't hear a single thing, and you put your headphones on, and everyone is just having a good time and just. But being sober at that event, I wish I was a drug addict because that would have been amazing. Because light shows can only do so much when you're sober,
Yeah,
like they're kind of cool,
yeah.
but then
I'm kind of I barely drink. I don't do any drugs except maybe occasionally pot.
Justin to Vegas, what will your employer say?
It's legal here.
It's legal. Hey, it just passed on the first in the state of Illinois. We can do the marijuanas now, even though I didn't do them before. I think it's kind of novel. Like it's a novel idea. Do you prefer eating or smoking the pot?
Oh, eating by
Eating?
I I'm I am a giant food nerd. You know this about me,
Yes. Yes.
especially sushi. I will eat until it hurts.
Oh, yep. Yeah, so I got contact. I'm pretty sure I got contact by from a friend smoking weed one time because we went to Dollar Sushi Night, and I had a hundred and like $5 bill. Um, I had 100 pieces of sushi, and I couldn't stop.
Just from you. That was just you.
Just me. And
Okay.
I wasn't fat then. I was in good shape. I was just eating. I just kept eating.
Something about sushi. Okay, so my record for sushi, this was for my 28th birthday party. It was the goodbye party to my metabolism. I trained for a week. I trained for a week according to the regimen of Nathan's hot dog eating champion Takeru Kobayashi. You remember that like scrawny Japanese guy that
Oh, yeah.
just swept for like 3 or 4 years?
Swallows hot dogs. Just like he dips them in water
Right.
and just
Well, I followed his regimen, and I brought a postage scale to the event and invited a bunch of my friends, and there was this. Did I tell you this story?
no. Oh, I
I
think
feel like I told you this
I
story.
feel like I've heard it, but you can tell it again.
Okay, so in New York, there's a sushi seafood buffet that is an entire city block long. It's called Todai, or it was called Todai then. Now it's called Ichiyumi. 4 pounds, 3 ounces
Oh, sushi.
of sushi.
Holy shit.
Dude, I think 100 pieces is more than that.
Yeah, probably. I was really hungry.
I was in pain, though. I was in pain. We were
I
supposed
was
to go karaoke later, and I was just barely holding it together.
I was still hungry, and my friend and I stopped because I only had like $200 on me, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't." I hate using my debit card. I like having the same number or higher in the bank at all time, and I like carrying cash to like pay for debit and stuff. I hate because my debit card got stolen one time at a grocery store. Like their computer systems got hacked. And a year after I went to this grocery store, I started noticing money coming out. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm very weary about using debit cards.
Oh, I use credit for the miles.
I
I'm all about the miles.
My credit score is where I want it to be. It's fantastic. It's in the 700s. I don't want to don't want to. Plus, I have a really bad spinning habit. Hey, we should
Spitting.
spinning habit. I have a really bad spinning habit. So
Spending.
now
Okay.
that I've gotten that out of under control, as you can tell, I have a really bad spinning habit.
Oh yeah, clearly, just completely under control. No impulse issues whatsoever.
No. I mean, I do have my things like discotheque. The Gundam movies are coming out. The Reconquista and G films. I'm a completionist when it comes to Gundam, so I have to have literally everything that comes out here. So I have my things, but I used to literally just go on eBay and buy lots and lots and lots of manga. like over and over again, just
Okay.
hundreds, thousands of dollars. And
By the way, everyone, sorry that all the like lighting around me is flashing all this time. I just got new
you having a
monitors
rave?
and what's that?
Are you
God, I
having a
wish.
rave?
Yeah, no, the Windows is just freaking out and stuff's going to sleep, and it's just that shit's getting weird over here.
Justin, if we ever meet up, you should cook for me, and I'll DJ old techno records, and then because I have a whole bunch, and it'd be a lot of fun. And then we can swap. You can try your hand at DJing, and then I'll cook you some homemade Alfredo. Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to turn down your homemade Alfredo.
so I can give you the recipe off air. It's easy, simple.
I'm not going to have Alfredo on my own.
Dude,
That's
so
just
good.
that.
So good.
I'm sure it is, but it's literally cream and pasta. I'm not going to do that to myself.
You can
I'm a
put the cream,
fitness guy.
you can put the cream on anything. Alfredo on sushi, little drizzle. Dude,
Okay,
it's so good.
fuck you for suggesting Alfredo sauce on sushi. That is
That
fucked
sounds
up.
good. That sounds.
No, no.
sounds
You step
amazing.
away from the sushi. Step away from the sushi.
Okay, Alfredo.
Not putting up with that.
My Alfredo, I think will go good with anything. Anything. So we have this. We have this thing that we joke about. It's called Italian biscuits and gravy. And what we do is we take our homemade garlic bread, we put it at the bottom, and then we take some of our homemade sausage. Like we mix all the seasonings by hand, big bat of sausage, and we put it. We get like little tiny like crumbles, not like crumbles, but like big chunks. We put them in a cast, like a big old cast iron skillet. Put it in the oven, cook it so it gets nice and crispy on the outside. Then we put it on top of the garlic bread and drizzle Alfredo on top of it, and then a little bit of fresh Parmesan. It is really bad for you, but it is incredible. It is amazing.
All right, so I know you've never been to LA.
No,
The restaurants here are very healthy and still somehow good. I'm sure you can do it if you try.
hey, our food is actually as good, as healthy as you can possibly get. We use all organic stuff.
I'm sure.
I mean, pizza. Our pizza is relatively healthy. So, like, not like this is a trade secret, but a lot of pizza dough is just margarine. That's why you get like the buttery taste on pizza. We don't use margarine. We use extra virgin olive oil. So it's, yeah, olive oil is fattening, but it's not as fattening as margarine. Margarine is god awful for you. It's like the worst thing you can
Right.
possibly put in your body. So our pizza is as healthy as a pizza can get. Our cheese is made out of skim milk. Our sauce has no fat in it. It's just literally tomatoes, salt, pepper, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of other stuff. But there's no like fat in it. So what you put on the pizza is what's going to dictate on how fattening it is. So if you get all meat, that's bad for you. But if you get like an extra thin 7-inch with just cheese, it's good for you. And Parmesan is the lowest calorie cheese.
So my I last week I was trying to recreate my late grandmother's graham muffin recipe.
Yeah.
My German grandmother, and she used to make these fantastic muffins. And we got the recipe, and I'm looking at the recipe, and it goes half margarine and half I forget the name brand, but it's this old, basically competitor to Crisco. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. Just grab for the butter. Just whole stick. Just plop it right in.
Don't you
Way
want
better.
the love handles?
Way better. No.
Dude, margarine is.
I don't
like,
know if-
seriously, margarine is awful for you. Like it's probably the worst. It's probably the most processed food in the industry, and it's the
Oh,
most
yeah.
used food. It's on literally everything. It's disgusting. And the people like who bring our flour and our blocks of cheese, and our cheese comes in blocks, and we cut it and shred it by hand. They'll bring us menus because they try to sell us more shit. And you can see like all this stuff that's at Chili's and Red Lobster. We get it in a menu, and it's all pre-made. It tells you the calorie counter, and it is fucking mind-boggling. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything has margarine. Every single thing, margarine.
I'm not sure
But
that's true in this state because I'm pretty sure California has banned trans fat
good.
and margarine's all trans fat. That said, so there's this burger place nearby. It's called Islands Burger and Shakes, and I've never eaten there, but I came really close this one time. And there's a law here that you have to put the calorie count on a menu if you have more than like 5 locations. And
Okay.
I sat down and I look at the menu and I'm flipping through, and it quickly dawns on me that if you just ordered a smothered cheese fries or smothered chili fries, a more opulent but not over the top burger, and a shake, you are at 7,000 calories.
Fuck yeah, that's the American dream, baby. That sounds good.
And I looked around me and I noticed that everyone around me was heavy, and I'm just like, just set down the menu, walk right out.
Jeff says every once in a while I eat at Islands. They have unlimited refills on fries. Holy crap. So also when a place has unlimited refills of something, that means it is the most cheaply processed made food available to you, because good quality food is expensive. Like very expensive. So like our most expensive pizza is $30. But this isn't Papa John's. This is a small mom and pop chain using the best ingredients. And honestly, if we were in like a different town, we could charge probably double for it, because our pizza is our food. Like how much is a plate of spaghetti and meatballs average at like a place that you go to?
I don't, can I be completely honest?
You don't eat spaghetti?
I don't think I even know of a restaurant to get spaghetti and meatballs around here that is not Olive Garden, and I don't go to Olive Garden.
That's kind of racist. Olive Garden? Oh, dude.
There's not a lot of good Italian out here, I will say that. There's some, but oh wait, I know a place. I know a place. Okay, I'll bet that place is probably 17.50 for that.
Our take $10 off. That's about how much our spaghetti and meatballs is. It's about
Yeah.
7.25. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's a nice fancy place. It's in the fancy mall. Jeff knows what I'm talking about. He lives around here.
at least you didn't say California
Yeah.
Food Edition.
Uh,
Are you?
Okay, so
are you not a big fan of
the
Italian
reason you need to come visit here, I do love Italian food, but it has to be really good Italian food or I'm not interested. Um, and I had pizza tonight, actually. I'm not proud of that, but I did. There's you have to come visit out here because I don't think you fully comprehend what a food wonderland it is out here.
Dude, I want to put it on my bucket list. So this year, I told Taylor I want to travel. So
All right, so I live in an area with a lot of Armenians, and I had never had Armenian food before I lived here. Armenian food is to die for.
yes,
They do stuff with chicken that is akin to sex. And I don't mean they fuck chickens. I mean they actually it is like holy shit. Now that I know the wonders of Armenian food, I don't think I can live anywhere else. It's that good.
is there a culture's food that you just don't like?
I think.
I had balut once, and it completely turned me off from Filipino dishes.
Oh, but Filipino food's so good. It's not all balut.
I just, I eat some weird shit, but balut was a little too much for me. I was like,
Yeah, balut was too much
Actually,
for
no.
Anthony Bourdain, so
Actually,
don't
I
feel
take
bad about
back.
that.
I take that back. My best friend, well, two of my best friends, one used to work at the restaurant, and one now does. His younger brother. They are Filipino, and they have brought every time that their family has a big get together. They bring us whatever they had, and it's always really good. I take that back.
Their adobo, their fried fish. Oh, so good. Yeah, I live next town over is super Filipino, so I get all that stuff. We have a Thai town, which
Can I just come stay with you for a week, and we just go eat?
we have Little Ethiopia.
Oh my god!
We have not just Little Tokyo, but Little Osaka on the other side of town. We have our Chinatown's kind of pathetic, but then there's a whole cluster of suburbs out to the east that is the best Chinese food in the Western Hemisphere.
I'm gonna come stay with you for a week, and I'm gonna not eat
Oh,
the
Little
week.
Saigon. Oh my God, I forgot about Little Saigon. I just went there last week with when Selby was in town. Oh my God, Little Saigon. Yes. So we have stuff. We have stuff to eat.
I'm hungry now, and I just had
Yeah.
smoked
You
turkey.
know, we should probably get back on anime because we have literally talked about nothing but food for the last half hour.
Well, we are over the hour point, so do you want to?
Yeah, but you know what? Let's bring it in a little bit because
Okay.
I feel bad. We talked about very little anime this show.
Do you want to answer a couple questions before
Yeah, let's
we
do a
go?
quick lightning round.
Okay, let me get my phone out. Um,
All right.
okay, this is for you, Justin. Is there an aspect of the anime industry that not a lot of people would know about? For instance, uh, licensing, publishing, dubbing, all these things are done separately and cost separately. But is there something that you know firsthand that not a lot of people may know about?
Not a whole lot of people think about the print material. The box design can get oddly contentious at times. There have been times where famous manga artists have gone through and redlined packaging, even dictated font choice. That happens very seldom, but it does happen. There was one manga artist who shall remain nameless that insisted that the company give her a sample of the box from the printer that it would actually be mass produced on, and that is very expensive to do. And she went 8 rounds of approvals.
Jesus, I'm gonna ask you off air who it is because I feel like I might know who that is.
You probably can figure it out.
Um, so by the way, Brady does a lot of your guys' box artwork, and he's
Yes, he does, and he's
fantastic,
amazing at it.
amazing. Um, Shout out to Brady. He also worked on the Indivisible, which was one of my favorite games of last year. Really damn good.
Hey, how about that?
Um,
Have
so
not played it yet. Waiting for the Switch version.
no, you got to switch. Someone asked about that, but I didn't know if that was a serious thing or if that was just like a joking.
We brought this up last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. We did bring it up last week. Have you played since?
No,
You're not
haven't
much of
touched
a
it.
gamer, are you?
I'm a workaholic. If I have time, I'm right here at my desk working. That's what I do.
That's it.
Well, that and I work out and I eat. Those are my 3 things. I work out, I eat, and I work my ass off until I die.
And then another one for you. Well, most of these are for you, except for one. Um,
Hmm.
Justin, has working on anime for as long as you have soured you on the passion of it?
Uh, it can't help but sour you a little bit. I go in waves. There are times when I just, uh, well, okay, I'll give you an example that you can relate to, Flip. I imagine being obsessed with pizza. Obsessed. And then you and then you open your own pizza shop. Suddenly, you are surrounded by pizza every day, whether you want pizza or not, whether you like the smell, you want the smell of pizza or not. It's in your hair, it's under your fingernails. You go home at night and you're washing, the bread flour out of your sweater, and then on your days off, you have to go in because no one's there, and you really need to clean the kitchen, and you have to do that when no one's in there.
That's my life.
And then you go home on your day off smelling like flour and
That's my
pizza.
life. That's my life.
There has to be at some point where you're just like, can we please do something other than pizza for fuck's sake?
The thing I feel about that is green peppers because we get all our produce fresh, and I cut
Mm.
probably 100 green peppers a day, and I fucking hate it. And I have to cut them 2 different ways: one for salads, one for pizzas, and I absolutely cannot stand green peppers. Every time I cut them, my hand cramps, and I have to switch blades. It's
Well, yeah, but you always liked green pepper. You always hated green peppers. That's not new.
no, I hate them. Like if I hate them with like such an amount of hate. It's just unreasonable. I see them at grocery stores and I instantly just think "fuck you" in my head to the green peppers. I hate them. Absolutely.
Right. So, getting back to the actual question, though, I so I get burned out really easily because I'm forced to, I'm working on shows I like, I'm working on shows I hate, and I can't pick what. And like, I'm very lucky working for Discotech because they license some good stuff. If I was working for like Funimation or Sentai, where they're licensing all these like brand new shows that are just kind of frankly all the same.
Yes.
It's like, oh, here's this season's 8 isekai shows, this and 5 harem shows. I would have probably quit ages ago.
I would blow my brains out. Probably.
Yeah. And there were times when I was at Central Park Media that I was just like, there were a couple shows that almost broke me because they were just so shit. And honestly, I'm also to the point now where I can, if I really hate a show in particular, I don't have to watch it. I can just kind of spot check the Blu-ray just enough to get it out the door and then make Mark sit through it.
Poor Mark. Which, by the way, Mark has been asking a couple times. I did not get slapped today, Mark, by the way. I almost did, but not for the reasons you're talking about. But yes, my wife has not slapped me at all. And he says, ironically, I love green peppers, and anime doesn't burn me out.
And thank God for that, because we need him.
Which also ties into another question. Has there ever been I know this question by heart because I wrote it down. And it's a super easy question. Justin, has there ever been a show or a movie that you worked on, going into it, you love it, but by the end of the project, you hate? Juspian, maybe?
I'm indifferent to Juspion. Stop with the Juspion. My God. I'd have to go back pretty far because if I really hate it, yes. Okay, now I remember. Catgirl Nuku Nuku.
So what about it after the end where you just like was it the music?
Okay, so first of all, the disc was ludicrously complicated because it had all 3 series on it and a bunch of extras. I had to, recreate the old OVA dub and of the UK dub. So that was a lot of, very intensive editing work that just dragged on forever and was not satisfying at all because I was recreating bad, sloppy, video edits. But more importantly, the first OVA still has its charms, but the rest of it is terrible.
And it's something that you used to love.
I never watched the others, but now I can't. I don't like anything Nuku Nuku. It's over. It's just over. I'll heal, and I'll probably be able to go back to Nuku Nuku in another couple years. That's the thing. If I really, really, really love the show, I won't be able to stop working on it, and it's fine. If it's a show I'm okay with or indifferent to, that's what kills me.
Jeff says he thinks he met you the time that you were finishing that up.
Probably. I mean, I have so many hell projects that I'm finishing up. I'm just embarking on another one right now that is a movie I really, really, really love, and I'm probably going to be working on it for the next year. So I can think of worse jobs.
Is it the one that's already announced?
No.
Okay. So another question, which I'm combining with my own question because I wanted to know this. Has there ever been something that you guys have licensed, work has begun, and then for whatever reason the Japanese company has put a stop to it? And
yeah, quite a few.
Really?
Yeah.
And,
I can't talk
at
about
that point?
most of them.
Do you guys get your money back? Because you obviously are paying money to license this shit.
Well, usually it's stuff that we already Discotech already put out, and then they're just having me make a Blu-ray, and then Japan will go, no, you don't have a Blu-ray, and we're like, but contract, and they're like, no Blu-ray, and we're just like, oh, fine.
And do you guys do that out of kindness so that you guys don't soil future business endeavors?
Is that kindness? I wouldn't call that kindness. I would call that self-preservation.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. That's a better term for it.
Well, what happens? Hold on, I gotta turn this light back on.
See, it keeps looking
God,
like you're just raving in there, dude. It looks like a blast.
it's terrible. I'm still figuring. Okay, there we go. So what happens is I'm working on. Uh, I'm typically working on a show months and months and months out. Like sometimes over a year before we actually start working on it in earnest. I just encode it just to have it done and on my server and ready to go, so I can just pull the subtitles and assemble it and hit encode once I have the menus. I'll get that far, and then Selby will say, "Hey, hold up on this. I'm dealing with something from Japan." If you don't do that and you make an enemy of the licensor, then you're never going to get anything from them ever again. And that can be bad because you need stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys license some pretty weird shit, so I can only imagine. And also, what's up?
There are still licensors that won't work with us. That we get, there are people that just don't return Selby's emails. It's a thing that happens.
Is it because of something that happened, or is it just because you guys?
No, some of these companies we've had no contact with. There are some that won't reply to him, but then he'll, go to a market and swing by their booths like, "Hey, remember me?" But there are certain that sometimes it's stuff that is completely out of our control. Like there's, say they're a product we license or a show we license, they're feuding with the original creator or something. We have nothing to do with that, but they are passive aggressively not responding while they, try to straighten things out with the original creator. Stuff like that happens all the time.
And then one question for me, and it's Flip. Why do you like mecha anime so much? And
yeah, why do you like mecha anime so much?
For me, a good mecha anime has to have good characters. So, actually, it could probably have bad characters. Like I think Gundam Wing is okay. Gundam Wing is an objectively meh to bad show.
Those are annoying characters.
Yeah, they're just super edgy. They're just super edgelord. So
they're edgy teenagers. They actually act like teenagers, but that soundtrack.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but the manga version, which is up there, let's see if I can get this name right. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Endless Waltz Glory of the Losers. What I like about that manga is that it takes that story, adds stuff from the novel, takes stupid plot points out, condenses it into 14 volumes, which is like a 50-plus episode anime, and all the mechs are in their Verka designs. So visually, it's not exactly the same as the show, but for me, I just love the way giant robots look. I've always loved giant robots as a kid. I was, my growing up, my parents were super, super poor at the very start of them opening up a restaurant. Because rule of thumb is 7 years before you turn a profit when you start a pizza place or just a restaurant in general. So growing up, I relied on hand-me-downs, and I got handed down like Voltron and Transformers. So even though I was born in '92, I was watching stuff, years before my time. And I just thought that was the coolest shit. I thought Voltron was the raddest thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought, Gen 1 Transformers was the coolest thing. And I never grew out of it. And same with Toku. I was a massive Power Rangers fan. Massive. And then discovered Ultraman at a very young age. And it's been something that I've just loved. I think also like now I'm at that point in my collecting phase, or not collecting phase, but like my knowledge where like I don't just follow franchises, I'll follow like an actual mechanical designer. I just read the scans for Mobile Suit Moon Gundam because the same guy who designed the mobile suits in that manga designed a lot of them on IBO. He did some stuff on Rikonjisa and G, and yeah, I think a good mecha anime has to have really good characters and it has to have really cool robots. And for a show to be great, like for instance, I think the best Gundam series is probably the 8th MS Team. It's not super long. It's got really good robot designs, and it's got really good characters, and it shows, um, like the actual true effects of war and how war can tear people up. And
That's
honestly,
like the entire theme of Gundam.
yeah, which is what I love. But also, I love big dick energy robots like Gurren Lagann and that kind of stuff. So, but at the same time, I also love stupid shit like Maz Singer Z or Zambot 3 or like these ridiculous shows that are silly, but I still love them. I still love them.
So the answer is, I don't know, I just do.
I just do. Yeah. Boil it down. It's just it's my main passion. Like I literally I posted a picture on Instagram. Or on Twitter. I picked up all of the Armor Core games today, just because I was like, I really want to play some fucking Armor Core, which never got an anime. I don't think, which makes me sad because I love the designs.
My sister has a bird, a lineated parakeet. It's this little blue bird about this big, cute, adorable thing. Loves mecha.
The bird.
The bird, like my brother-in-law does a lot of Gundam models, and the bird will like snuggle with them.
Dude, speaking of Gundam models, can I show you a fan? I don't like saying the word fan because I only have 2.7 thousand subscribers, but a subscriber sent this in. This is like a $200 figure. Look at this. This is a fucking metal Gundam unicorn. Someone sent this shit in, and it wasn't a kit. It was I did have to pop out all the all the effects, and did have to put the shield and the guns together and pose them. But someone sent this shit in, and this is probably the coolest thing I have on my shelf right now. I love it.
It is cool looking. It is really cool looking.
And it's part of it's made out of die cast, so it's really heavy. So. Yeah, someone someone sent me that, and I didn't know who it was. I thought it was one of my friends, and I asked around. They're like, "No, dude, we're not spending $200 on you. What the fuck's wrong with you?" And then someone messaged me on Reddit and was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm the guy who sent that in to you. I just love your stuff." And he's like, "You sold me something before, and I just kept your address." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of weird, but thanks."
Yeah. That is a little. I mean. Yay!
Hell, Flip's Gundam would probably be the Pizza Gundam. If they ever do a sequel to Mobile Suit G Gundam, I would love for Italy to have a more racist Gundam in that show. Just go all out. Just like have it have fake dreads and have it be spaghetti, and just like I don't know, just I would love it.
Gundam by way of Hatalia.
Oh man, I need to change that laugh too. My laugh is obnoxious. Holy shit. I can hear myself echoing. I can hear myself echoing. I'm like, ugh, that's what I sound like. Ugh.
Keeping your daughter up.
Actually, she's out. She didn't get a nap today. So the moment we got home, boom, down for the. We actually set her on the ground, and she just slowly face planted and just closed her eyes and fell right asleep. So
I might do that today.
I'm going to the gym right after this. I feel pumped up.
Oh right, I keep forgetting your body clock is like.
It's fucked up.
Completely fucked.
And I'm going to be there until probably about 3 a.m. I'm super pumped up. Conor McGregor won the UFC fight. That's why my voice is actually messed up. I screamed so hard like a little girl. And then my favorite football team won. So, hell yeah. Do you watch UFC?
I think you have badly misjudged what kind of nerd I am.
I'm a nerd for everything. I didn't really get into football until I played it in high school, and then I got into it. But I still don't like it.
I'm not into any sports that are not animated.
That's a fair point. I don't like watch every game, but when it's the playoffs and it's the 2 last games before the Super Bowl, I'm like, all right. And Kansas City's in there. But man, Conor McGregor, beautiful fight, 40-second knockout, Justin. Broke his great.
Jeff Burns asks, how do you feel about the quality of upscales for older shows now compared to when companies were first starting to experiment with it? I'd say most of us have gotten a little better at it. There are still some bad ones, but nothing like the overcleaned ones that we were originally getting. And there are still some shows that you can't upscale. They just look too bad, which is unfortunate.
And what was your favorite project last year that wasn't Cyborg, just to get it done? And
Cyborg wasn't. You asked me this last week.
someone else asked this too. So, but they actually
we'll skip that one.
You want to skip that one? All right. Well, then, do you just want to go and wrap it up?
If we only have repeats, then yeah, let's just wrap it up here. It's already an hour and a half almost.
We have a couple. I tried to make the questions fit the theme of the episode. So this episode, because we had such a weird topic and we decided about it literally the night before.
This is how it's going to go from now on. I'm sure.
Which is
sure of that.
Well, I think we should talk off air before we both say goodbye to talk about playing out, so I can get more appropriate questions going. Favorite fish from sushi says.
Oh, salmon. I know it's not traditional, and I know they don't really eat it much in Japan, but it is like butter, and it's cheap, and I can eat it until I rupture.
Mine's eel. I'm a huge fan of eel.
Eel's good, but it's also like it's not eaten raw, so I don't really feel I feel like that's cheating. There's that glaze on top of it.
I love it. I can eat it without the glaze. Just eat it like.
It is very good though. Okay, so one of the places I have to bring you to out here, and it's actually a couple places in San Gabriel that do this. They serve an entire steamer tray, like probably about 12 inches. Fill it with Chinese sticky rice, and then top it with eel.
That sounds amazing.
The entire 12 inches.
I'll eat all of it.
It's so good. It's so good. And their specialty is Peking duck.
I love duck. Like good duck. Like duck done well is... How's it feel to have
duck is amazing.
Millimeter projector?
It is nice.
You're so weird. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing to have.
Okay, so I was tweeting about this earlier over the last week or so. So I have a 16 millimeter projector, and I have only a handful of films with it. I used to have more, but I had to get rid of a bunch. The sad thing about color 16 millimeter films is that they fade. So I had a bunch of old 60s TV shows. It was Bewitched, Bonanza, and My Three Sons that were used at a local TV station, and they were just sitting in a distant relative's basement. So they just gave them all to me, and it was like 70 films. It was great. But I got this projector when I was 6, and I was so obsessed with the mechanics of movies as a kid. I would thread that up and just have movie night in my basement all the time. I still have that projector. It's sitting downstairs, but the sound died on it years and years and years ago, and I finally got it repaired this week, and I got to watch the first episode of Galaxy Express that way, and I also have a 16 millimeter print of Megazone 2-3 Part 2.
Yeah, that's what Squirrel Mecha said in the comments that you got.
Justin does got Megazone 2-3 Part 2, which is the best
Megazone 2-3 or is it Megazone 23?
It's 2-3 because it's based on the World War II code name for Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a specific zone. So yeah, it was
which
2-3.
Actually we have one more question. What is your most obscure? Someone asked. I'm kind of. A lot of times people will ask. It's like a paragraph, but the question is just needs to be a sentence. So, if any of you send in questions, please just make it a sentence.
Brevity is your friend.
Yeah, because like we got one. It was 3 paragraphs, and then the question was at the end, and I was just like, why did I have to read that? But you're someone said we're both, not me, Justin. We're both very knowledgeable. What is the most obscure thing, like the most obscure show that you can just pull out of your ass to have a conversation about?
Probably Toei. Do you know about Toei?
No.
A lot of people know about Toei, but it's a favorite OVA of mine. It came out in '87, never was re-released, only been released on Laserdisc and VHS. It's about the 80s punk scene in Japan, but the music is not punk. The music is progressive J-rock, or J-pop, I should say. The music supervisor is Masaya Matsura, the guy that that produced Parappa the Rapper and Jammer Lammy.
Okay.
But the OVA is so pretty, and it's just such this ode to youth and youthful idealism. It is. I'm sure the manga is very different, and I still haven't gotten to read the manga because my Japanese is too shit, and I don't think anyone's translated it. But it is. It's really beautiful. The music is incredible, and I hope someone will license it someday. Although I'm told there are music rights issues with it, and that's why it's never been reissued.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you before I give my answer. Have you guys ever had to change the music for because you're starting to see this with games like Grand Theft Auto 4 just got pulled down, and it's because of the soundtrack. All those rights expired. So has that ever have you guys ever had to stop a license because of the music?
I've never done that. Usually, if the licensor has their shit together, they've cleared the soundtrack internationally. But there are times where anime has had to have music transplants before it's allowed overseas. Famously with Zeta Gundam, the opening to Zeta Gundam had to be swapped out. There's the opening to Kodocha that is by one of the Johnny's bands, Tokyo, and they're such a nightmare they had to just completely drop that opening. And also the one of the members of the band has a cameo in the first episode, and they had to just completely mute it for overseas release. There is what else is there? Gunbuster, I think they had to swap out some of the music. And Evangelion, they shockingly Gainax didn't clear Fly Me to the Moon internationally, and it turns out that track is very expensive, which is why they don't use it in the Netflix version.
Speaking of Netflix, can you believe that they got 21 Ghibli films?
Outside of America.
Oh, it's not in America?
You have to click the article and read it.
I mean, I own them all on Blu-ray, so I don't really give a shit.
Okay, so, anyway, we're getting them streaming in the U.S. anyway, just not from Netflix, we're from HBO now.
Yeah, that's
or HBO Max, when it becomes HBO Max, that's where it's going. But we are getting them streaming, and then Netflix got them for the rest of the world. It had to happen at some point. You can't stay Luddites forever.
Hot take. Never mind, I'm not going to say it because you might hate me afterwards, so not going to do
Too late, go ahead.
I think a lot of Studio Ghibli films are overrated.
I tend to agree. Not a lot. I'd say about 40% of them, I'd say, are very overrated.
I would push it.
I still can't get through Earthsea. I still can't get through Tales of Earthsea.
I think
that movie's a slog.
But to answer my question about my most obscure knowledge thing, before we wrap up, is there's a Toku show in the 90s called Guy Ferd, not Guy Ver, that was produced by Capcom. So it's just, I feel like Capcom was just coked out of their minds with all that Street Fighter 2 money. And they were like, let's make a Toku show. And it kind of rips off of Guyver, a lot. The suit designs, it's 20-something episodes. The plot's all over the place, but the action scenes are so fucking good. So good. The suits are actually pretty rad. But I've came really close a couple times to buying the Laserdisc version of that. Even though I don't understand Japanese at all. I just want to own
Do you have a Laserdisc player?
I have come close to buying one because of that. I've been very close to buying one and getting a couple of Laserdiscs. But I know
they're very expensive to maintain, I got to say, and they look terrible by today's standards.
That's why, and also I don't need another hobby to start buying. I'm going to buy all of Evangelion on Laserdisc. That's going to be no.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Don't buy Laserdiscs. They look terrible.
Jeff said
the art's nice, but that's it.
Sega made one too called Changerion. Thank you. I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna watch that. Probably start watching that tonight.
I feel like you just gave an addict a drink.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be good. And then my wife's gonna have to hear me talk about it, and then you're gonna have to hear me talk about it next week, and it's gonna be great. So, anyways, guys,
this is what I knew this show would turn into: you fanboying out and me just going, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" This is what this show is going to be. I'm kind of here for it.
It's called Fanverse Pro. So, but guys, thank you for watching. The channel has 132 subscribers on episode 2, which is awesome. Now we can submit to get an actual URL, which is pretty stupid that YouTube puts that rule into place, like 100 subs to get a URL. So
not bad though.
yeah, not bad.
Well, spread the word.
Sure,
We
please.
also have the show. If you can't join us on YouTube, or you don't want to just sit there with a video window open, we also are available as a podcast. I'm going to make Flip put the link in the comments or in the description down below. And so that's another way to ingest our inane conversation.
And then if you want to hear me ramble more, you can follow me on my channel, Flip Otaku. Closing in on 3,000 subscribers, so that's
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing a big giveaway. I'm actually giving away. I'm calling it a Flip Otaku starter pack. It's going to be all Discotheque Blu-rays. I'm going to be buying Voltus 5, Giant Robo, Juspian, and Message of Space. And then we'll be giving away to one winner. I tried multiple giveaways, like multiple winners, and I gave away like 50 things, and that was just too much of a hassle. So one winner for 3K. I'm going to send it out to him. And yeah, I got some reviews coming up. Got Ultimate Muscle review. Got the Ultraman manga review coming up, and the Mobile Suit Moon Gundam first impression. So yeah, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Flip Otaku. He's at World of Crap. And sub to us on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review, even if you hate us. Which
yes, please, yeah, review us on iTunes and give us a thumbs up here on YouTube and all that good stuff. It actually does help, believe it or not.
And yeah, you can't cancel me. I'm going to keep saying that. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Have a good night.